People always say that when your partner is cheating, you just know. They talk about gut feelings, woman's intuition, or a sudden shift in the universe. I'm here to tell you that's complete garbage. When the person you love more than anything looks you dead in the eye and smiles, your brain is hardwired to believe them. My name is Mark. I'm 34 years old, an architect, and until about a year ago, I thought I had won the lottery of life. My wife, Sarah, was 32. We had been married for 5 years, together for 8. We met in grad school. We built our lives together from the ground up, moving from a cramped studio apartment eating ramen to a beautiful 4-bedroom house in the suburbs of Seattle. Sarah was a marketing executive. She was ambitious, brilliant, and stunning. I was the steady, reliable rock that supported her through every late-night study session and every corporate hurdle. We didn't have kids yet. We were focusing on our careers and paying off the mortgage. We had a golden retriever named Buster. From the outside, and honestly from the inside too, we were the perfect couple. Looking back, the signs weren't explosive. They didn't hit me like a freight train. They were like a slow, undetectable gas leak in our home.
It started when she got promoted to regional director. With the new title came a new boss, a vice president named Richard. Richard was in his mid-40s, divorced, drove a Porsche 911, and had that arrogant, perfectly manicured look of a guy who thinks he owns the world. Sarah used to complain about him constantly. "He's so arrogant," she'd say. "He breathes down my neck." But then, about 6 months into her new role, the complaints stopped. In fact, she stopped talking about work almost entirely. Then came the phone habits. For 7 years, we knew each other's passcodes. It wasn't a control thing, it was just convenience. "Hey, can you reply to my mom on my phone while I'm driving?" That sort of thing. One evening, we were ordering takeout. Her phone was on the kitchen island. I picked it up to open Uber Eats, swiped up, and typed in her 6-digit code. Incorrect passcode. I tried again, incorrect. When I asked her about it, she didn't even blink. "Oh, corporate IT made us update our security policies because I have sensitive client data on here now, Face ID only." It made sense. It was a logical, bulletproof excuse. But then I noticed how the phone was always face down, how she took it into the bathroom when she showered, how the screen brightness was turned all the way down. Next were the networking events and team building dinners. Sarah, who used to rush home, put on sweatpants, and watch Netflix with me, was suddenly out until 10 or 11 p.m. twice a week. When she came home, she immediately jumped into the shower, claiming she smelled like the smoky restaurant they went to. I felt insane. I felt like a toxic, jealous husband. I tried to suppress the feeling in my gut. I told myself I was being paranoid. I told myself she was just stressed with the new job. I was an idiot.
The truth didn't come out through a grand confrontation. It came out because Apple's cloud ecosystem is a beautiful, flawless snitch. It was a Saturday morning. Sarah had gone to a morning yoga retreat with her girlfriends. I was cleaning the home office, dusting the shelves. I found her old iPad mini. It was an older generation she hadn't used in almost 2 years, buried under a stack of magazines. I plugged it in just to see if it still worked, thinking I might use it to read recipes in the kitchen. It booted up. It connected to our home Wi-Fi. And then, the notifications started pouring in. Ding, 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 ding. Dozens of them. Because it was an old device, the new corporate security policies she lied about hadn't been applied to it. Her iMessage was still fully synced via her Apple ID. I sat down in my office chair. My hands were shaking. I opened the Messages app. There was an unsaved number at the very top, but the context of the messages made it glaringly obvious who it was. It was Richard. I scrolled up. It wasn't just flirting. It was a fully established 6-month-long parallel life. There were texts from the nights she was supposedly at networking dinners. Richard, room 412.
Door is unlocked. Sarah. In the elevator. Can't wait. There were messages from the morning of my birthday. While I was downstairs making us coffee, she was texting him, "I wish I was waking up next to you today." There were photos. God, there were photos. Things she had never done with me. Things she swore she was too shy to do. I didn't cry. The pain was too profound for tears. It felt like someone had injected liquid nitrogen into my veins. Everything I knew, my entire past, my present, my future, it was all a lie. I was nothing but a comfortable safety net, a placeholder she kept around to pay half the mortgage and walk the dog while she played out her fantasies with a corporate VP. I sat in my chair for 4 hours. By the time I heard her car pull into the driveway, the devastated husband was dead. Something else woke up in his place.
When Sarah walked through the door, glowing and smelling faintly of a cologne that definitely wasn't mine, I smiled at her. "How was yoga, honey?" I asked. "Amazing, so relaxing," she lied, kissing me on the cheek. It took every ounce of willpower in my soul not to throw up, let alone scream. But I knew if I confronted her right there, she would cry, deny, gaslight, delete the evidence, and spin the narrative. She would paint me as the crazy, invasive husband. I wasn't going to let her control the narrative. On Monday morning, I called in sick to work. I didn't stay home. I went to the most ruthless, highly rated divorce attorney in Seattle. Let's call him David. David looked like a shark in a tailored suit. I showed him the iPad. Washington is a no-fault divorce state, meaning infidelity doesn't necessarily get you a better deal in court. But David smiled. "It's no fault legally," he said, "but it's immense leverage in mediation. People who want to keep their secrets hidden will sign anything to make the divorce go away quietly." For the next 3 months, I lived a double life of my own. It was psychological torture. I cooked her dinner, I asked about her day, I slept in the same bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to her breathe, knowing she had been in a hotel room with him hours earlier. Behind her back, I was a ghost. I legally separated my finances. I redirected my direct deposits to a new, solo bank account at a completely different bank. I gathered every single financial document, deed, and tax return and locked them in a safe deposit box she didn't know about. I also took hundreds of screenshots from the iPad. I printed them out. I categorized them by date. I found out through the texts that Richard was expensing their luxury hotel rooms to the company, disguising them as client entertainment. That was corporate fraud. Richard was also married. His wife Emily was a lovely woman who occasionally commented on Sarah's Facebook posts. I was setting up the board. I just needed the right moment to flip it.
The perfect opportunity presented itself in late October. It was Sarah's 33rd birthday, which coincided with our 6th wedding anniversary. Usually, we kept things low-key, but this year I told her I wanted to do something special. I told her I was incredibly proud of her hard work and wanted to throw an elegant dinner party at our house to celebrate her. She loved the idea. She loved being the center of attention. "Who should we invite?" she asked. "Your family, my family, and maybe some of your close colleagues," I suggested casually. "You should definitely invite Richard and his wife Emily. He's been such a great mentor to you." She hesitated for a fraction of a second, but her ego won out. "That's a great idea, babe. It'll be good networking too." The week of the party, I was a machine. I ordered premium catering. I hired a bartender. I set up a projector in the living room, telling Sarah I had made a sweet slideshow of our years together. The morning of the party, I packed 2 large suitcases with all of her clothes, shoes, and jewelry. I hid them in the trunk of my car. I took Buster, my dog, to my brother's house across town. I didn't want him around for the shouting. By 7 p.m., the house was full. Sarah's parents were there, my parents were there, several of her coworkers arrived, and right on time, Richard walked in, holding hands with his wife, Emily. Richard shook my hand. He looked me dead in the eye and said, "Mark, you've got a wonderful wife. You're a lucky man." I smiled back, a genuine, terrifying smile. "Richard, you have no idea how much I appreciate you saying that."